Hello, and welcome to Red Sports Talk. My name is Zach. I'm here to talk about some of the notable moves that have happened in the NFL since the last video I made, which was last Monday of the first day of the legal tampering period. I know it's a little bit behind. There's plenty of stuff that has happened, but this is the first time I've had actual time to sit down and talk about a bunch of it. So I'm going to do right now. First and foremost, the most notable thing actually happened last Tuesday night, as the Baltimore Ravens pulled out of their trade with the Las Vegas Raiders for edge rusher Maxx Crosby. So the Ravens were all set to send 2 first-round picks for Maxx Crosby to the Raiders. He was in their building. However, something came up on the physical that they apparently weren't comfortable with. So they repealed their trade. Crosby is headed back to Vegas. The Ravens agreed to not do their trade anymore. They backed out of it. And then the very next day, Wednesday morning, basically, the Baltimore Ravens came to an agreement with edge rusher, defensive end, Trey Hendrickson, formerly of the Bengals. So they backed out of a trade for one edge rusher, Maxx Crosby, still bringing in a very talented edge rusher in Trey Hendrickson to, again, help their team in the spot they are very needing help on their defensive line. Another big acquisition or move happened last week was Kyler Murray, quarterback formerly of the Arizona Cardinals, released from the Cardinals and then signed with the Minnesota Vikings. So looks like he's going to come in and compete with J.J. McCarthy to be their starting quarterback for the season. This kind of shows me that the Vikings maybe weren't too happy with how they were projected to look with J.J. McCarthy. He didn't really show enough last year for them to be comfortable with him going in this year as their guaranteed starter. So they're bringing in Kyler Murray, somebody that is a very talented quarterback. Obviously a former number 1 overall pick for the Cardinals. So they're bringing him in to add some competition, and if he beats out J.J. McCarthy, I think somebody that can bring a spark to this offense and is able to get the ball to his playmakers like Justin Jefferson. Other big additions: the Carolina Panthers signed linebacker Devin Lloyd. He was one of the top linebackers in free agency. One of the better all-around linebackers in the NFL right now. I think the Panthers got a very good key addition to their defense by getting Devin Lloyd. Other key signings: the Panthers also signed offensive tackle Rasheed Walker, formerly of the Green Bay Packers. It's another big acquisition for them. Really help out with their O-line, get them some depth there. And he's one of the better, arguably the best offensive tackle in free agency this season, this offseason. And the Panthers are getting a very good offensive lineman to help their very young quarterback in Bryce Young. Another big thing: the New England Patriots went out and signed a couple of offensive pieces. First off, they got Romeo Doubs, wide receiver formerly of Green Bay. They got offensive lineman, offensive guard Alijah Vera-Tucker, formerly of the Jets. Those were 2 pieces on their offense that they really needed to address this offseason. Alijah Vera-Tucker, if he's healthy, I think he's a great addition to this offensive line. They can put him in at left guard next to Will Campbell, and he will, I think, be a very good piece for that offense. And as for Romeo Doubs, he's not the flashy signing. He's not the big, acquisition that's like the top name, but he's somebody that I think can fill the Stefon Diggs role that they lost when they released Stefon Diggs. He's younger. He's in his mid-20s. He's been in the league for 4 years. Very talented receiver that I think just adds another dimension, another dynamic weapon to this Patriots offense. The Patriots also signed defensive help. They got safety Kevin Byard, formerly of the Titans and was on the Bears last season. He is a little bit older, but still a very good acquisition. He actually led the NFL in interceptions last year. Safety is a position the Patriots needed to address. I was hoping they would be able to bring Jalen Hawkins back, but he went to the Ravens. So they have Kevin Byard, who they can pair with Craig Woodson, who was a very talented rookie last year, and can hopefully be a good addition to this secondary. The New York Jets signed cornerback Nahshon Wright. He's somebody that I believe had 5 interceptions last year, so he was very good at getting turnovers, was something the Jets defense did not do a whole lot of last year. They had 0 interceptions all season, and this, in addition to hopefully help them. The Jets also traded for quarterback Geno Smith, so he is actually going back to where his career started with the New York Jets. He's somebody that can be a veteran starter, can be their kind of stopgap between, can kind of get them through the season before they can hopefully bring in a young rookie quarterback next season. The Jets also traded Justin Fields to the Kansas City Chiefs. So the Chiefs now have their new backup quarterback in Justin Fields. Other key signings, the Washington Commanders brought in a few key pieces. They signed tight end Chig Okonkwo, formerly of the Tennessee Titans. He's a big playmaker tight end that can really help add a spark to this offense and be a really good safety valve for Jalen Daniels. They also signed defensive end Clavon Chaisson, formerly of the Patriots. This is a guy that was second on the team last year for the Patriots in sacks. He's somebody that, the former first-round pick, has shown flashes. Last year was arguably his best year in the NFL as a pro. They're getting somebody that they can add on that defensive line next to Odafe Owe, who they signed earlier in the week to really help out that defense. And they also signed linebacker Leo Chenal, formerly of the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, another defensive piece. I think the Commanders identified that their defense was a weaker point for them last season, and they're trying to bring in pieces to help them. I think Chenal is a very good linebacker to help with that. Other signings, the Buffalo Bills signed Bradley Chubb, formerly of the Broncos. This is a signing that I kind of see much like their signing with Joey Bosa last season. If Chubb can come in and he can stay healthy, he's a great addition to their defense. When healthy, he's a great pass rusher. He's good against the run. He's a good all-around defensive lineman that could be a very good piece for this Bills defense if he can stay healthy. The Philadelphia Eagles signed Tariq Woolen, cornerback, formerly of the Seahawks. This is a big body corner that they can basically put on in their already talented secondary, really help them out. They got Quinyon Mitchell on one side. They probably have Tariq Woolen on the other, and that allows them to kind of move Cooper DeJean wherever they want to else in that secondary, whether it's a nickel, whether they try him back at safety now that Reed Blankenship is gone. I think he's a better corner, but they can kind of give them some versatility there. Now they have that big body corner to place on the other end of Quinyon, to place on the other side of Quinyon Mitchell. The Houston Texans signed Braden Smith, offensive tackle, formerly of the Colts. A guy they can put at their right tackle spot, can really help out their offensive line. It's a good signing for them because their offensive line was one of their weaker areas last year. It allows them to bring in a veteran starter who can be a good player for that O-line. I think the last one that I have to talk about is the Pittsburgh Steelers signed Jaquan Brisker, safety, formerly of the Chicago Bears. This is, again, a very good signing for the Steelers. It allows them more depth in the secondary, a better option at safety. Hopefully, they won't have to have Jalen Ramsey back there this year with Jaquan Brisker. The Steelers are doing a very good job of really revamping their secondary this offseason so far in free agency. So I think Brisker will be very much good addition to that secondary. Yeah, so those were all the real big names or big acquisitions and moves that happened in the past week, really. There are still some notable free agents still available. You still have your Deebo Samuels out there. You still have your Juwan Jennings, your Wyatt Tellers. Obviously, there's still guys like Kirk Cousins. Stephon Diggs is still out there. Guys that will probably be signed later in the offseason, probably after the NFL draft. So this is really the point that free agency and news will tend to die down for probably the next couple months until draft season comes around. And then after the draft, teams will reassess and reevaluate their team needs and what they go out and get in free agency from the available players. Yeah, this is really the last video I'm really going to make talking about the free agency moves because all the big ones have more or less happened. Stay tuned next week if you're interested in UFL content because just going to get this out now starting late next week. March 27th is the UFL kickoff game. So next week I should hopefully start my prediction videos for UFL if that's something you're interested in. Come back next week for that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time.